So we didn't quite finish Canto 27 yesterday. I didn't want to speed read. I wanted to soak it all in. So if we start in Canto 27, 241, we've established there have been some female, or at least quote unquote female characters, but I feel like it's been mostly X chromosome. Is that X, right? Chromosome?
Yeah, it's X.
Or quote unquote male, which is kind of interesting. Like,
They're at least masculine.
is that like men are more sinners than women?
Yeah.
Which, like, it traditionally in Shakespeare always makes fun of people being slut shamed, especially women, and men being high fived for the same activity. So that
maybe Dante wasn't about that. Maybe he respected women.
yeah,
What happened to go to hell if he did that?
find it interesting. Okay, so 241, Canto 27, line 94. As once on Mount Sarakti, Constantine. Why is Constantine famous?
He was the last Roman. Yeah.
To what?
He converted everyone to Catholicism.
He converted the Roman Empire to the Roman Catholic Church on his deathbed, meaning that the entire civilized world, quote unquote, now was Catholic. It might not sound like a big deal to you, but what if right now all of Western Hemisphere, all of North and South America, including Greenland, all turned to Scientology? 100%. That would be a big deal, right?
Yes.
Well, that would be what happened with Constantine. Required that Pope Sylvester cure his leprosy, just like Jesus cured leprosy. So he, my lord in it, commanded me to cure him of his fevered arrogance. He asked advice, and I maintained my silence. He seemed plain drunk in what he had to say. Top of 243, page number snobs, or line 100, poetry lovers. But still he urged, don't let your heart be doubtful. I grant you henceforth total absolution. Total absolution. You're going to heaven forever. Teach me how Panastrina may be raised. Raised is burned to the ground. The power is mine, you know it well, to unlock heaven's door, or lock it fast. Hence these two keys. My predecessor held them far from dear. Two keys. Sounds like Dead Reckoning. Mission Impossible. Two keys fit together makes four keys. No one in here? The keys fit like this.
I hate to break it to you, those movies are
Rad.
I own all of them.
Sorry to interrupt, but I had to get the rad in there first.
it rhymes with rad.
I love Tom Cruise movies. He's my boy.
Even though there's
He's a middle-aged white man, guys. Leave him alone.
There's 8, and the 8th one isn't coming out until May 24th. Thank you. Not that I know.
A lot for a movie series.
To be fair, there's also a bunch of Terminator movies. And
and only
bunch
2 of them are good.
And so
Star Wars.
many Die Hard. Good grief.
I think I liked all the Terminators.
So many Star Wars
I own
movies.
all of them.
I think
Star
Terminator
Wars
2 is maybe one of the best,
Star
arguably the
Wars
best
is,
movie of
like,
all time.
Was meant to be a series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars was always meant to be like, what's the hell is meant to be trilogy?
It's like being like the Lord of the Rings
It was
movies are
intended-
too long.
Yeah, it was intended to have story beyond the first one, but it wasn't necessarily meant to be a trilogy.
Okay, movie nerds. Line 106. Such points, all weighty, drove me to this view that silence now was worse than quick assent. Father, I answered, since you wash away the sin that I must now be guilty of, some promise, generous though a mean extent, assures you triumph from your lofty throne. Now dead, St. Francis came for me, but then a black alumnus of the cherubim cried out, don't cheat! You can't dispose of him! line 113, alumnus. In 2.5 months, Davy will be an alumnus. Nix will be an alumnus.
Ah.
Okay. Sorry. It's a happy day.
I feel like you guys are all gonna be just as sad as us.
115. We will. Down must he come to join my squalid thralls. His sound advice was dreadful, was, after all, deceitful, and since that hour I've hovered round his hair. Repentance fails. There can't be absolution nor penitence. Kneel before God, penitence. When willing ill goes on, that is, by contradiction, impossible. The pain I felt, I shook myself awake. To me he said, he took a grip. Perhaps you never knew a practice logic too. To Minos he transported me. Minos, the St. Peter is the good one, Minos is the bad one. Who then 8 times coiled tail round relentless spine. In utter ire he bit this thing and then declared, condemned is he into thievish fire. So that is why, as you see here, I'm lost, and thus go dressed in inward bitterness. And once it reached the end of these few words, grieving, the flame went off along in its way, thrashing its horn and wrenching it awry. We now, my lord, and I went further on, rounding the ridge, to find another arch to span ditch 9, wherein a fee is paid, incurred by those who force fair deals apart.
Okay, there definitely are female characters in the first couple of cantos. One of them they bring up so that they can be like, yeah, she was a whore and she did that to herself. So that's really cool. And also Minos is mentioned in Canto 2, and they talk about how he wraps his tail around himself the number of times of the circle he's about to send someone to. So
It's a nice detail.
yeah, and cool to see way later in the book.
That is a good detail. So Minos wraps his tail based on how many or what circle you're getting condemned to. This art has this. We scrolled past. It has Muhammad a couple times. So are we? I didn't get Muhammad in the text, but when I think of Muhammad, this would have been what, 600 years after the Prophet Muhammad traveled from in Saudi Arabia from Jerusalem to Mecca, I believe.
I know someone named Muhammad.
It is the most common name in the world.
Yeah.
It's the most common.
True, but I don't know if Dante would just be throwing in a character without intentionally meaning the principal messiah of Islam. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to shoot you guys down. Like already on 28. Oh, I thought we were on 27. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We almost finished 27.
All right, 28. Get a page number for the 245. Who could relate, even in words set loose from rhyme, even by telling it over and over, all that I witness now, the blood, the wounds? There is no doubt all human speech would fail. Our powers, whether a mind or tongue, cannot embrace that measure of understanding. Suppose that gathered in one single whole we were all those people of the fated South whose blood was shed in pain on the Apulian fields, be it as victims of the sons of Troy, or else, as Livy writes unerringly, in that long war where rings were heaped as spoils. Was that mean like gold plunder? Rings, spoils, gold plunder? Then add all those who suffered grievous wounds in wars against the Norman king Giscardo, Norman, like kind of like Vikings, Normans, Saxons, Celtics. And also add that band whose bones are gleaned at Saperano, still where Southerners each one proved traitorous to Taglicozo, then move on, there aging a lard one by guile, not arms. Probably talking about royal wars, kind of during the time where they're coming out of Rome. When Rome falls, all the different factions around Europe have to like figure out their new governments and stuff. A lot of fighting. Where every lopped off limb or part pierced through, seeing once again that even so would far from equal all the foul display in pocket 9. Okay, so Canto 28, Circle 9. It's where the schisms are. It's where all the people with their lopped off limbs are, hence people carrying their heads, ripping their chests open. Line 22. One I saw riven from his chin to fart hole.
What?
So split from chin to his anus.
Ooh, my fart was.
Stop.
Hey, Dante wrote it.
Or everybody perked up when we said that one. Thank you, Dante. Line 23. 22 is the fart. 23, no barrel mid-slat or moon rib missing, ever I am certain gaped as wide as that. Between his legs his guts all dangled down, innards and heart on show, and that grim bag that turns to shit, whatever gullet swallow.
That's one way to say stomach.
Yeah, so now the art's making sense here. And there's them standing.
That one guy's head is way too big. It's bothering me.
Line 28.
Sorry.
My eyes were fixed and gazed on him alone, and he gazed back, then opening up his thorax, hands at work. Look now, how wide I spread. You see how mangled is the great Muhammad Ali. Ooh, Ali, Muhammad Ali, weird.
That would be the prophet.
Yeah.
But isn't that so? There was a famous boxer who refused to go to Vietnam.
He was named after the prophet Muhammad.
I know, but to have Ali right after that,
Yes.
spelled the same.
He was named
Name.
after. The boxer was named after the original guy whose name was Muhammad.
I love this book.
It's gonna get posted on YouTube.
I don't give me that common stuff. Let's go. Just do it. I'm pissed right off. Fig F.
Don't bring me in.
I should just say it. It's quoting. I'm quoting a person that's 1,000 years old. I think we can get away with it. Don't listen to YouTube. Okay. You see how mangled is the great Muhammad Ali. Ahead, wends weeping on his way, cloven in countenance, facial expression, from queef to chin. So too, the others that you here observe, all in their lives sowed schism, scandal, discord, and that is why they all are here so splintered. Back there, a devil deftly decks us out in these cruel ornaments and crops each page in every choir that comes upon his sword edge. For as we pass around this road of pain, each wound and gash is made entire and whole before we come to face him once again. 43. But who are you? Who there sniff down at us, and so perhaps are slow to meet the harm that you've been sentenced to for your own crime? Death has not reached me yet. Death has not reached him yet, my teacher said. Nor is he drawn by guilt to any pain. I, being dead, to give him full experience, am bound to lead him all through hell, from gyre to gyre, I think, from ring to ring, through every round. And this, I tell you, is the simple truth. To hear this said 100 or yet more stopped short. They looked in wonder from the ditch at me, in awe, forgetting their own agony. Since you perhaps will shortly hail the sun, then say, you may shortly go up back to earth. If fraud Dulcino is not keen to join me soon. He'd better stockpile well, lest winter snow and drifts make us barriers, bestowing triumph on the Navarrese, which they'd not lightly come by otherwise. That was Muhammad, who, as now to leave, had raised his foot while uttering these words. If anyone's Muslim in here, this is probably pretty inflammatory.
So yeah.
I mean,
I'm not Muslim, but yeah, this is like.
this would be like saying, and then level 9, there was Jesus. It'd be just like saying that.
He did put a bunch of priests in here,
and saints.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which for the Catholic Church is
And
the one.
gods.
Yes.
Yeah. They
And
literally.
ancient gods. He doesn't care about offending anyone. He's just
He put
saying.
Cleopatra in there.
It's a comedy, guys. Come on.
Fan fiction.
Well, yeah.
It is.
So is the
Dante-
Bible.
Dante
Yeah.
hated a lot of people I'm seeing here.
That or he just was like, yeah, you're all going to hell.
You know, it'd be
Hey,
funny
that's
if I put
rough.
Cleopatra
He had the
in here.
dreams.
62 is 3. He placed it flat to ground and went his way. 64. 249. Another then, his throat pierced through, his nose shorn off and level with his hanging brows, one ear alone, and only that to hear. So sounds like person carrying their head. Now paused with all the rest to stare at me, but opened up before the others might, his windpipe, crimson in its outward parts. You there? Whom guilt does not condemn, I've met you once on our Italian soil, unless I'm much beguiled by close resemblance. If you should see me once more, the lovely plain that slopes between Vercella and Marcabo, then call to mind again Da Modesina, and let the two best men of Fano know, Guido and Angelello, his peer, supposing that our foresight is not vain. They'll both be slung, their necks bedecked with stones, from boats that coast around Catolica, betrayed in this by a villainous baron. Royal. From Cyprus on to Majorcan Isles, maybe Morocco. Neptune, Roman god, has never seen a crime so great pulled off by pirates of Argolian Greeks.
Poseidon?
Yeah.
85. Rome's version of Poseidon. 85. The traitor with his single-seen eye, who rules a city that another with me here might wish his sight had still a hunger for, will work it so that they will come to parley. Trade. Also, pirates talk, just like Captain Jack Sparrow said, once you agree to that, the captain refuses to kill you. Then work it so they'll need no prayer or vow to save them from the gales around Fakara. And I, in answer, show me, make it clear if you wish that I'll take back news of you. Who is that despot dictator with the bitter view? At which he put his hand around the jaw of one beside him, prizing wide his mouth, and yelled out, "Here he is, and he can't utter! Exiled he drown all Caesars, Roman king. Hesitations for anyone, he said, who's well prepared will always suffer harm from titubation. Titubation. I have no idea. Titular, titillating. Top 251, line 100. How dismal and confused he seemed to be, his tongue hacked out and hollow in his gut. So headstrong once, this Curio in parley. Curio's a Shakespearean character, like in every play. Then one came round with both hands, his hands cut off. He raised his flesh stumps through the blackened air. He made his face drip filthy red with blood, and yelled, "Me too, I'm Moscow, you'll recall, who said, alas, what's done, well, that is done." Ooh, what's done is done. Hello. That's a good nugget right there, huh, guys?
True.
But you're reading too much into it, Tigan. Okay, Tigan, and this sowed evil seed for every Tuscan region in Italy.
Single seed.
To which I single seed, guys. or evil sowed evil. Did I say single evil seed? To which I added death to all your clan. So piling always grief atop of grief. He went his way, a melancholic madman. But I stayed there, and staring at the throng, I now saw something which, without more proof, I fear that I could never hope to speak of. Conscience, though, leads me confidence to try. That good companion renders all men free, under its breastplate, knowing we are pure. Hands cut off. Oh, here we go. I saw, I'm sure, and still I seem to now, in company with others in that herd, a torso striding without a head. Who held that head? Though severed by the hair, it swung as might a lantern from his hand. Alas, it said, and stared at us in wonder. Himself he made a lamp for his own light. So here were 2 in 1, and 1 in 2! Plato's Symposium!
That was really good. Who played their soundboard, guys?
And remember, that's Plato remembering a conversation with Aristophanes.
These ones are ones you want you can write on.
How that can be, he knows who orders so. He stood directly by the bridge foot now. He raised an arm, so therefore head and all, to throw his words the closer to us there. And these words came, see this, the harm, the hurt. Breathing you go still, watching on the dead. See now, is any punishment as great? And so you may return with news of me. Then know that I'm that Bertrand de Beaune, who gave false comfort to the youthful king. False comfort, bad counseling. How does it make you feel, Logan? Bad. Wouldn't that be hell if you were stuck in counselor hell and all they ever asked you was like, tell me about your feelings for eternity?
It sucks to be in therapy forever.
Father, okay, 253, line 136, we're going to finish this. Father and son, I set at mortal odds, no worse with Absalom, Ahithophel, whose evil promptings prodded David on. Bible reference, I think. Since persons so close linked I put apart, so I, alas, apart now bear my brain, thus severed from its root in this great trunk. In me, then, counter-suffering can be seen.